state policies, government policies that are relevant to an entrepreneur. While no one talked about mentorship at the first, but why I like to cover this, and I think what Ajay Chaudhary in his book also has written about is the power of a mentor, right? While everyone starts to look for funding, starts to look for scale-up support, but I believe very strongly that getting the right mentor on board will help you take a lot forward. He will open up, or he or she will open up the avenue of network for you, will avoid you, will help you from not repeating the same mistakes which other startups have made, and you're free to make your own fresh mistakes, but learn from the others and helping you guide in this journey. So with that objective, we created the mentorship platform. It was created with the help of Manoj Kohli, who was in SoftBank earlier and member of Advisory Council. Piyush Goyal, who was our minister, recently launched this. So we've onboarded about 1,000 plus mentors here. Rajat is in the audience, Ruchira will be joining shortly. All of them are also mentors on this platform, making themselves available for you to guide you in this journey. So any mentorship support that you need, business, academic, functional, hiring, growing, scaling up, this is the platform for you to look at. Coming to the most important pillar, of course, funding. Before I start with the funding pillar, one quick message. Two of the most successful unicorn startups have, never raised any external funding. You talk about Zoho, you talk about Zerodha. So the message I want to drive here is that becoming, getting market traction, becoming a sustainable startup is more important than raising funding. So if you focus on getting the metrics right of your businesses, I'm sure funding will follow, if you need it, that is. So I'm going to talk about 3 funding schemes, starting with the early stage. If you're an early stage startup that has just started up and is looking for funds for proof of concept, for converting your product into a minimum viable product, or for testing, go to market, whatever, we have a seed fund which is available either in the form of a grant of 20 lakhs or a convertible debt of up to 50 lakh that is available through a host of incubators, about 180 plus across India, that are there on the website. Now, unlike a lot of other schemes, this is a paperless scheme. It is a completely digital scheme. Everything about the scheme is done online. You apply to the incubators you feel would be the right to support you. Since virtual incubation is also allowed, so even if you're in Delhi, you feel, an incubator in Karnataka might be better suited for me, basis the portfolio and expertise they bring in, you're free to apply to that because of the virtual incubation element allowed in this. The eligibility is, however, that you have to be not more than 2 years old in your operation journey. If you've grown beyond 2 years from the date of incorporation, I would suggest you look at the Investor Connect portal as well as the Fund of Funds scheme. Now, for scale-up support, we have Fund of Funds. The Fund of Funds is run through SIDBI, where we have, government is in the business of mobilizing more funds for this ecosystem. So if you see, we have, from the 10,000 crore Fund of Fund, about 8,000 crore plus have already been committed into the different venture capital funds who are investing further in startups. So we have a pool of about 100 plus oil VCs who have got money from the government. Now the beauty of this fund is the contribution which the government makes in this fund, 2x of that contribution goes into the startup. So which means I'm multiplying the money available for this ecosystem, and the fund also has to raise further investments from this ecosystem. So in a nutshell, 7x mobilizing effect in terms of capital available for the ecosystem, and 4x when it comes to investments into startups. Now all you need to do if you're targeting the investors under this is, one, the website of Startup India as well as SIDBI have given you the list of these investors, and we have also digitized the process of investor connection. So all you need to do is go to the Investor Connect platform, and there you will find the investment thesis of what these investors are looking at, what are their ticket sizes, what are the sectors in which they invested, and you will also approach them by connecting with them. Then we have recently launched something called the Credit Guarantee Scheme, which is like a scheme for MSMEs where the banks, the loan that they give to startups, that collateral will be backed by the government. So the banks can more comfortably lend now to startups without the worry that their debt can go bad, right? So this is recently launched in April 2023 of this year, and a backing of about 1,000 crore is being provided by the government here. Apart from that, basis the feedback from the investors, we've got a lot of this feedback that every time we do demo days and pitches, the startups are not ready to capture that moment or to, summarize what they want to communicate in that very short time that they have. So I think it's very important to have a very strong art of storytelling and pitching and to sharpen your story. So we do a lot of these workshops as well. We have global funding opportunities as well. We take startups to international platforms. I will talk more about it in the subsequent slides. Investor Connect is what we've already spoken about, a platform where you will find investors, where you will find investors putting out call for application. For example, She Capital is looking to invest in women-based founders through this platform. So if you're not already out there, please register. And I would also suggest, if you are a startup, let's say in any sector, if I'm setting up a solar manufacturing plant, if I'm looking for government grants, I will first go to the ministry that is responsible for this and look for grants under this, and then I will also look at the state in which I am and the state policy that it provides these incentives. So look out for these two options as well. And all you need to do is again not find multiple documents, go to the Startup India website, under ministry schemes you will find this, under state policies you will find this. Now, like we also talked about market access, I'll divide market access in selling to the government, selling to the corporates and customers, and selling to growing internationally. Government is very simple, the government e-marketplace, the GEM platform that we have. Startups are exempted from prior experience, turnover and EMD. We have had startups selling orders worth 14,000 crores in the past few years, and about 20,000 startups are already registered. There's a startup runway section, right, which means any innovation which does not fall into the category of normal procurement processes, you can highlight your innovations there. So if you need help with GEM onboarding, we also are very well connected with the GEM team and we take these workshops time and again. But anything which my office is also procuring now happens through GEM. So I think if your product caters to the government, this would be the right platform for you to register at. We've spoken about this. Sometimes, we also look for solutions which are not out there in the market. For example, I was working with the CRPF department where they wanted instant blood clot solutions for their soldiers or anti-spike shoes. Or we were working with the National Security Guard mission where they wanted drone solutions that would counter terrorism and can capture any anti-rogue activities around. So, some of these solutions which are not there yet or not in its full glory, the department is ready to nurture you, mentor you, tell them exactly what they need so that they can co-create a solution with you and then ultimately procure it from you. Similarly with agri working on the issue of paddy crop burning, with fisheries working on the issue of how plastic cannot be thrown in the sea and protect the ocean life, and a lot of these issues. So any of the ministries where you feel your product can support, be a part of these programs that are run through the ministry, again on the Startup India. The second part of domestic access is how do you approach the corporates or the customers who will open their value chain for you. Now, given that we have about 100,000 startups, catering to individual need of everyone becomes tough, and we don't want to overwhelm the other side as well by connecting them individually. So we ask the corporates, what is it that you are looking for? You let us know your thematic areas and we'll get the best of the startups who are interested to connect with you to apply. These are some of the corporate partners we have worked in the past. You name it and we will have it. But the idea for you is to be a part of these sessions and the programs. It opens up a great amount of opportunity, not just in terms of the cash grant that you will get, but in terms of the mentorship which the senior leadership puts in you, but in terms of the value chain of stakeholders and suppliers they open up for you. So I think being a part of this ecosystem helps you target the corporates that you are looking for. Now, for the scale-up support, we have international market access. If you're ready to go global, if you're ready to serve international markets, we have about 20 bridges. Now, a bridge is a soft landing platform where we have a partner in that country that will help you navigate that country, will help you connect with the suppliers, ecosystem stakeholders of that country. So, for example, if you're pitching to Japan, Jetro will help you. Korea, Kotra will help you, so forth and so forth. A lot of our embassies and the foreign missions are also involved here, so they are very actively looking forward to support Indian startups. We also take startups on global platforms. We will invest in you to represent the best of the Indian innovations at the global platform. So Dubai Expo, we took about 100 plus startups. Majorly, most of these startups were from the smaller cities and towns on a trip paid by the government, representing the best of the Indian innovation at this platform. A lot of follow-up pilot orders and opportunities and investments came after this. We are currently taking startups to Slush, which is the largest tech festival in Finland. We did Viva Tech Paris and a lot of these things. Now, how to be a part of this ecosystem? Again, be a part of the mailing list. All these applications are posted through the website in a very transparent way. Also happy to share, Startups was the only group that got accepted for G20 under India's leadership. So you see the power of startups. It's not just a coin term for India. It is taking a global stage right now, being taken forward by Brazil, and the entire Startup 20 leadership group did very well in communicating a global message of giving startups a center stage, realizing the power of their contribution to the economy. Okay, I think there are no incubators, so we can skip that in the interest of time. And yes, the last slide, how we engage with the ecosystem. It's not just these one-off sessions that my team and I do, but we also engage with the ecosystem very actively across programs, events, where we organize these pitching sessions, where we organize and get the best of the speakers for you to learn. So be a part of these sessions. January 2016, which is a foundation day, has also been declared as the National Startup Big Day by the Honorable Prime Minister. So we celebrate it with full vigor every year, and this year again, January, will be a time where we'll be going out again to all the states, celebrating it with you and bringing the best of the mentors, investors along with us. That's it from my side. Okay, this is how you can reach out to us. I've left the QR code. Any queries that you have, the team personally addresses it, so you can scan the QR code and write to us for any support. I think I've kept my presentation on time, but for the next panel also we'll be waiting. But if there are any questions, probably I can take 2, 3. Yes.
My question is with the Startup India, like you have about 19,000 people under the startup once it started. So what's the my question was like the Startup India, this Invest India. So the startup, in what areas are they? Which are the major areas?
67 sectors and industries. The top 5 being IT, life sciences, healthcare, education, and fintech.
All right. So healthcare, like what exactly? Like when and during the
medical devices to healthcare, tech products, everything.
And they're totally indigenous, or
They are
like
totally indigenous.
okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Can I know? Sure.
I want to know, like, you mentioned about only one scheme over there for startups who were born before 2022. So, what
Before 20, yeah, it's actually 2 years from your date of incorporation.
Yeah, date of incorporation suppose is 2008, and then how many schemes are there?
So the schemes that I mentioned are from my department, which is the Ministry of Commerce, which houses the Startup India scheme. But like I mentioned, there are a lot of other government departments, science and technology, electronics and IT, biotechnology, all these schemes are summarized for you on the website. So because this is the scheme I personally and directly handle, I can confidently talk more about its eligibility and the requirements.
I'm particularly asking, I'm particularly asking about one thing because I filled out the form and all, and my setup was launched in 2018. But the startup certificate I got last year. So
yes. So this is a common feedback that we've got, that even if startups incorporate earlier, they have a gestation cycle till which they start working. So because the scheme is approved by the highest authority right now, it's a 945 crore scheme, and we've exhausted more than 70% of it already. In the renewal cycle, we are very strongly recommending to do away with the eligibility criteria of 2 years and expand it to higher. But I would also suggest to check out the NIDHI scheme under Department of Science and Technology, the TIDE scheme under Ministry of Electronics and IT, and other department schemes that may be relevant to you.
and it's all
It's all there on our website.